Welcome to Konoha Crush, a clandestine effort to exhaustively research and document events occurring in and around the village hidden in the leaves. I am Maria.
I'm Gwen. Hi.
Hi, hello Guinevere, here we are. How has it been? How has your week been since we last recorded?
My week has been. I forget.
Yeah? Okay. Well, some weeks are like that. It seems like to me it seems like you've been like a little bit busy, but not really with anything that goes on the podcast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like, pretty much, right? Like,
Mm-hmm.
we are recording this on December 20th, and I have had, like, a lot of, like, holiday preparation stuff going on. So it's just, like,
Mm-hmm.
it's been, like, kind of hectic.
Yeah, I, on the other hand, do not have any holiday preparations to see to, but I just have not been doing shit this week. Really, I don't know. I just feel like I have not done much, and I certainly have not done anything that I feel all that compelled to talk about. Like in this first segment, I'm still watching Bochi and all of that, but like
Mm-hmm.
the second to last episode of that was like very great. I am excited for the last one this weekend, but like I feel like that ground has been like pretty well tread by this point.
Yeah, totally, right? Like, we it is always kind of the case where like we have like the seasonal anime that we're watching, right? But
Mm-hmm.
then like late into the season, like before it's all over, but like after we have the like here's the new show that we're talking about, here's what like the first few episodes are like. Like
Mm-hmm.
once we get into that like middle to like late segment of the season, we're just
Mm-hmm.
like, yeah, I mean like we have nothing to talk about.
Right, like sometimes there can be like an exceptional episode, or sometimes I like decide to like go and watch something that isn't like seasonally airing or whatever. But like
Hmm.
it is the few things I am like watching with any regularity at this point are like pretty consistently on the level that they are, as I've talked about them before. Like again, like Bochi is great every week. I do not remember if we watched the latest Do It Yourself, but like the last time we watched Do It Yourself, we had a great time with that.
Yeah, I think we're up to date.
Okay, well, I mean, who knows?
Yeah, who knows?
I'm not going to check that right now. I watched a little bit more Chainsaw Man. There was an episode I thought was okay, and there was an episode I thought was like pretty good. That is just the way of that. That show is okay.
Hmm.
It has its moments. Yeah. So I mean, that is a like longer conversation than I expected. Essentially, to say that I do not have much to say in this section of the podcast. Do we want to move on to Naruto?
Yeah, let's just get to the episodes.
Okay.
Episode 130, Father and Son, The Broken Crest. Sasuke fires up the Sharingan and starts kicking Naruto's ass. Back in the past, young Sasuke is wondering what's up with his brother's weird Sharingan, and his dad takes him out to the water to learn fireball jutsu. Sasuke doesn't do too hot at first and disappoints his dad, so he stays out all night for a couple of days, trapping the fuck out of his lips, until he gets it right. In the morning, he rushes to his father ready to prove himself. His dad is dismissive at first, but notices how fucked up Sasuke's face is from practice. Sasuke makes a big fireball, and for the first time, literally ever, Sasuke gets affection from his dad that's not just comparing him to his brother. Until that last sentence, where he tells him not to follow in Itachi's footsteps anymore.
We get into it with like a little bit of like, here is some action at the top of the episode, sort of like framing this flashback some more, as these episodes have been doing. Sasuke is activating his Sharingan to like prove that he is serious now. Like he said he would last episode. Naruto does his like shadow clones thing, which is like I guess his equivalent. He has like a super mode, but it's a little bit less of a consciously activated thing. Um, and Sasuke is like basically not really having it. He just beats up all of Naruto's shadow clones. It's just like I actually knew which one was you instantly. I was just humoring you by beating up your shadow clones, which is like I guess it's kind of a cool guy thing to do, but it's also like if you wouldn't like beat up all the shadow clones, they like at least serve some purpose. You could have just gone for him. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Yeah, I mean, like, even if you know which guy is the real one, it's still worth it to take care of the shadow clones just because they can come and stab you.
I guess that is true. I guess it is true to like get rid of all of those, right? But
Like it's almost preferable in Naruto's case to like have the real body be the one that's like went after, right? Because he's like, really, really durable.
right. And the shadow clones are like those motherfuckers take one hit
Yeah, yeah.
usually. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, so like Naruto's ideal strategy here is like he makes a bunch of shadow clones and then the bad guy starts wailing on him and the
Hmm.
shadow clones all run up and stab the guy.
Yeah, okay, you're right. I guess I was really like underestimating Sasuke's strategic acumen here, and that is pretty shameful of me.
Hmm.
The other big thing is he like does his big fireball jutsu to like sort of like set the stage for how he is going to like learn about doing a big fireball back in the past. We get into like the flashback stuff, and Sasuke is just not doing he does not seem like he is doing great because everything is just really awkward, and he like no longer has the ability to like not notice it because his brother and his dad almost like came to blows in the middle of the street.
Mm-hmm. For the record, I think Itachi would have won that fight.
Oh, I mean, like, I think that given how this goes, this is not really an ambiguous statement. Given the fact that Itachi kills all of the Uchiha, I think objectively we know that he is stronger than his dad.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
like a lot of those guys were like maybe not ready to like fight back immediately, but like that is part of it. They're ninjas and shit.
yeah. I mean, even if it's like a loved one approaching you, you gotta be ready. You know,
Yeah.
you never know, and like I don't know, it could be like an enemy ninja in disguise, or like maybe your like loved one is like under a genjutsu that like makes them like think you're a bad guy. All kinds of stuff.
Anything could happen. You gotta be ready.
Anything could happen.
Yeah, no, Sasuke is like still like gonna do his best, like try and go about his day for a moment, but then he like walks out of his room and immediately sees his dad and Itachi like walk past each other and like pointedly not say anything. Um, it is like that right now. It is like
Hmm.
even if it is very normal to like walk past somebody in the hall of your house and not say anything, you could make a whole deal out of it, and they very much are doing that. And then like to top it off, like Sasuke's dad like just walks up to Sasuke and is like, "Hey, I'm going to like teach you something special, right? Like this like." Like there are like multiple layers on which he is being like a piece of shit here, right? Like there's the obvious one of like, okay, well maybe like Itachi is like a bit of a wash. I have to like go and like work with my backup son now. But there's also the sense of
Uh,
like he is doing this while Itachi is there, right? Like
yeah,
it is like the ship has kind of sailed on like trying to like pull Itachi back around with like any sort of promise of fatherly affection, because I think Itachi doesn't really seem to care about what this guy thinks about him anymore.
which fair.
Yeah, fair. Good for him, frankly. Like
Yeah.
important progress to make.
Mm-hmm.
A lot like big strides to be making at the age of 11.
I keep forgetting Itachi's 11 here.
uh,
His voice is so deep. He is an 11-year-old who walks around looking and talking like an adult man.
right. Yeah. There is
I mean, like,
like you could say something about like, oh yeah, like this is sort of like in Sasuke's subjective memory, Itachi is always like that much bigger and like more adult like than him, in the way that like when you are like 6, like like somebody who is like 6 years older than you feels huge, and then like when you are older you see like a fucking 12-year-old and you're like, wait a minute, that is a baby. But
yeah.
like I do not think Naruto is like historically, I do not think Naruto is something that plays in that much of a space of subjectivity, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, I think generally speaking, its flashbacks are playing in a very literal space, so there's not a lot of room to like build that kind of idea of like what it is doing there.
Yeah, I mean, like it just comes down to like the character design of Itachi being what it is, and then also the voice actor for Itachi being who it is.
Yeah. No like differentiation in like how that character is performed. Like now and later, he is just sort of like eternally the same guy, no matter when he shows up or how old he is.
Honestly, I think it would have been really cool if like the age difference between Itachi and Sasuke was bigger, right? Like, if Itachi was 17 in the flashbacks, like that would make more sense. And also, I think it is like a cooler relationship to have like a much older sibling.
Mm-hmm.
and like the younger like kid sibling, right? Because then it also gets into the case of like the responsibility of the older sibling, especially with like parents who like aren't so good, like falling into that
Mhm.
like backup like parent phase.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, like, he is more or less written like that, right? Like,
Yeah, and I just think it like works stronger with Itachi being a little bit older.
hmm
Like if Itachi is as old as he is supposed to be in the present in the flashbacks,
hmm
I I I I don't know. That just feels more true to the character to me.
yeah, no,
But but but
I can totally see
but
that.
but also maybe I'm just saying that because in the flashbacks he's like walking around looking like and talking like an adult man.
Yeah. Um, but yeah, Sasuke's dad takes him out to the lake to learn Fireball, and like Sasuke does not do it right instantly the first time, and he's like, "Damn, you are worse than your brother." Later,
Later, goddamn, Sasuke's dad sucks so
he
bad.
sucks so fucking bad. Like, Sasuke is like, "Oh, I have this chance to impress my dad, so I am going to like keep. I'm just going to keep doing this until I get there." And like, he is a smart kid. He knows how he is going to learn how to like shoot fire out of his mouth at like the expense of his health, um,
Yeah,
which winds up being like, I guess, more or less what it takes to get his dad to like be like, wow, congratulations, Sasuke, you're your own guy. You truly are my like backup son. You truly have like earned the place of being the guy I care about now instead.
mhm.
Um,
God, the like affection from dad and like the end of this like first part of the episode is so good, right? Because he like, and by good I obviously mean something else, right? But like
mm-hmm.
he's like, yeah, that's my boy. And then he's just like he's just giving Sasuke the like base level like uncomplicated just like, yeah, I'm proud of you, son.
Mm-hmm.
And then he ruins it so good.
Yeah. uh,
Just by being like, okay, I need you to not care about your brother anymore.
mm-hmm.
That
I
guy
like that.
sucks.
Like the way the show presents it is like really fun to me because like it like in that exact moment it like is playing up a little bit of like, oh yeah, here's the like kind of like hopeful happy music playing as like Sasuke like successfully pulls off the fireball and impresses his dad, but like you fucking know that this is like such a like, well, yeah, like it feels very like conditional and like like there are strings attached in the way that like basically everything like Sasuke's dad
Yeah,
does
yeah. I
feels,
mean,
right.
like of course it's conditional. Like the condition is doing fireball good.
Yeah, right, and like, but like because like Sasuke is our like perspective character, like it's still like in this moment at least has that like air of like, oh, here's the like swelling music playing because this is that moment where like he has finally done what he wants, and like it lasts all of like a minute until like he like immediately starts doubting it in like the next half of the episode.
Yeah,
Which do you want to get into that now?
yeah. Let's get into that. Sasuke's feeling pretty down and asks his mom if he's just a replacement for Itachi, since Itachi got kind of weird and his dad doesn't love him anymore. Sasuke's mom assures him that his dad cares deeply about Sasuke and simply has a hard time showing it. Sasuke works hard and uses over Itachi's sicko speech. He goes to ask Itachi to help him with knife tricks, and he gets brushed off. Sasuke asks his dad about more kinds of Sharingan, and his dad mentions the Mangekyo Sharingan and tells Sasuke not to worry about it. Sasuke goes to train on his own, and present-day Sasuke taunts Naruto some more and sends him flying down into the water.
Right, so yeah, like we talked about, and like obviously, like you mentioned in the summary, we have that moment at the start of like this back half of the episode where Sasuke is going to his mom, is like, "Hey, so like my dad said something nice to me, but like the more I think about it, like it seems like maybe I am just like a replacement for my older brother now that like now that she's kind of awkward and like his mom is like doing his best to kind of reassure him. I think that like this scene sort of suffers because Sasuke's mom is the character in this part of the flashback that is not really like a character, right? Like
Mm-hmm.
she says like the mom things that like, you
Yeah, she
know,
like, yeah, she says the mom thing. She's the one that like goes like, oh, you're pushing yourself. It's not everything to do the only thing you want to do. You
mhm.
got to take care of yourself too. And then like puts a little cream on his face because he got boined.
Yeah, yeah, right. Like she is not like there is just not a sense of like when we look at like Sasuke and Itachi and like their dad, like those relationships are like so immediately clear to us and like
Mm-hmm.
so strongly presented. Like, but like when he goes to talk to his mom, and his mom is like, "Oh yeah, I mean like your dad is just kind of like bad at displaying affection publicly, and but when we are alone, he talks about you all of the time. I mean like he seems maybe a little more concerned about Itachi like in public, but that is because Itachi has like an important job, so he has to like oversee that a lot. And it is like we just do not have a sense of like her as a person to like figure out like what her like feelings about that are really, right? Like she does not have the like room to be like specific really, right? She is just kind of saying the like reassuring mom things.
Mm-hmm. God, how fucking cool would she be if she was just like, okay, now I don't want to speak ill of your father, but he's kind of an asshole, and you're just gonna have to deal with that.
God. uh could never happen. Could never happen in this show.
Can never happen. Yeah, fucking Sasuke's mom. Like, imagine if Sasuke's mom took like one day, like what one day before she had planned to sit Sasuke down and have the like, you can't base your entire self worth off of like your relationship to your father because he's just an asshole talk. Like she was
God.
just about to do that, and then, well,
uh
uh,
yeah. Mm-hmm.
like Sasuke would be fixed.
Right.
Sasuke would be a healthier person.
Right. But you know that like this like I don't know, like it just was kind of like frustrating in the sense of like, oh yeah, like this is how Naruto is about women, because like this scene does not really like even move the needle that much in terms of like how Sasuke is feeling, right? Like the other scenes in this episode, I feel like we have like a very like direct, like, oh, here is like what this, like what Sasuke like feels about like how this is going. But like the scene with his mom is just kind of like, okay, she says the mom things, and then we move on.
Mm-hmm.
And it is just a bummer, right? Like it is, like they might as well not have a mom. It feels like sometimes.
Yeah. Well, okay. So like, what this scene like actually does in like Sasuke's like mood, is that like this is getting like a little bit ahead of ourselves. Is like after like because this is like the day before his whole family gets murdered, right?
Mm-hmm.
Um, what this scene does and what his mom says here does is to establish like an uncertainness in Sasuke about like what his dad like actually felt, and so he's going to wonder about that for the rest of his fucking life.
Right. I just think we get like more clearly in the like later scenes with like Itachi and like also with Sasuke's dad, like in this same episode.
Mm-hmm.
I just wish they had done like a little bit more to like make this complete like family unit be involved in the like relationships they have with each other.
Yeah.
But Sasuke is like, like even with this reassurance, Sasuke is like still in this position of being like, like things do not feel resolved. He like still wants to like, I guess maybe this scene like like sets up him like wanting to think that like this is resolved, like carries over into like the rest of this episode, right?
Yeah.
But like, yeah, he is certainly not there yet. Like he's like, okay, like it definitely feels like my brother is different. It definitely feels like shit is weird with my dad. Um, he is he has a lot on his mind. He like goes to talk to Itachi, right? And we get like this episode starts like dipping into like things we saw last time. Like we got the like Sasuke's family dying flashback, right? Like we get the same scene of him like going to talk to like Itachi and like ask for help with knife tricks, like the day before, like the day that Sasuke's entire family dies, right? And like in that moment, we get like a little bit more of like, oh, here's where Sasuke is at, like specifically in terms of like this broader context we now have of his character, right? Like when Itachi does his classic forehead poke thing, Sasuke is like, oh, okay, he is normal actually. He is actually still regular. He still does his like thing that he does to me. So like maybe things are okay, right? And like he goes to talk to his dad, and they have their extra conversation about like the special like different kinds of Sharingan.
Mm-hmm.
And like
how is this just not like the biggest red flag to Sasuke's dad?
Right. Yeah, I guess I'm not sure, right? Like,
I mean, it could be, right? Like, it could be like, it could be something that Sasuke's dad is like trying not to like show on his face that he's like incredibly concerned about Sasuke like having an interest in this, right? And like maybe that's something he's going to bring up to the family council later, about Itachi. But who has the time for that?
Right. Like he is like, I guess not. Yeah, no, he is not freaking out about it at this moment at least. And we move on to like again like the thing we saw earlier where like Sasuke asks his dad about Itachi, and his dad like does the whole thing we talked about earlier of him being like, oh yeah, I mean like your brother is just like hard to understand and weird, and I don't really get him even though I'm his dad. Which like when it first came up, I was like, oh yeah, that is a really like rough thing to say about your kid. That is like a really like dehumanizing stance to take about your child.
Yeah.
I think like the like the little extra like added layer of like Sasuke's thoughts in this moment I think are like very interesting, because like Sasuke does not see this fucking like red flag at all. He's like, oh okay, like my dad does not dislike Itachi. He just doesn't understand him. Okay, so like he does not want me to like stop like caring about Itachi. Like Sasuke is like in this point where like seeing in like this like very like rough excuse like tossed out is like he wants things to be okay enough that he will like accept this as an explanation and be like, okay, well I guess maybe things are normal, for as long as he can continue believing that, which is going to turn out to be not very long at all.
Yeah, about like one training session.
Yeah, like one day at school and then like staying late to like throw knives on the playground. Is there anything else you want to say about this episode?
No, you want to move on?
Yeah, okay.
Episode 131, The Secrets of the Mangekyo Sharingan. Young Sasuke comes home from training late, and wouldn't you know it, his whole family's been murdered. Well, not his whole family, since Itachi did it. Itachi hits him with a trauma vision and gives him the whole "to test the limits of my ability" line, so Sasuke freaks out and runs, but just ends up bumping into Itachi again outside.
Right, so this is going to be like a pretty breezy like first half of the episode to talk about, because almost the entire thing is like directly lifted from an earlier episode we covered, like
yep, I mean sometimes they just gotta show the same thing twice.
Right. I do not remember exactly which episode of our podcast we covered this in, but like if you do some digging, you can figure that out if you like really want to like just go back and get that specific conversation again, just in your mind. But no, it is very much just like it is like the same scenes, right? Like it is like all the same animation, like with the exception of like Itachi has the actual Mangekyo Sharingan design now. They cut down on a bunch of like the sort of like smaller interstitial moments of like Sasuke like coming back and like wandering down. Like the scene is like cut down, like made a little bit more like brief and abrupt. Just thinking like the rest of the episode in here. But again, like it is the same thing. But there's like a specific moment like this first half of the episode that I want to talk about, that I want to touch on, where like right before we like cut to like the line between the A part and the B part, we get like a little bit of new a little bit of new footage which like demonstrates like a really fascinating thing, right? Where usually in Naruto when we see like a scene we have just seen before, right? Like it isn't like, oh yeah, we know this is a flashback. It is like framed like a flashback. There's like maybe like a little bit of like filtering going on to like kind of like homogenize that. In spite of like the wide amounts of like different slight differences in like philosophy, but like compositing shots and everything, but like because this is just like, oh, this is like this is just like this scene played again, like within the like context of like this is this is like the flashback scene we are seeing. There is this like really abrupt cut where like when we go from like a shot that was in the previous episode to like a shot that is new to this episode, like everything just looks completely different in terms of like how it's lit and colored and everything.
Yeah, that feels like a really strange decision to me, right? Because like it's not like they didn't have that stuff on hand, like how it looked like before on hand, right? Like,
right. I mean, like, so there's actually like a very slight attempt to like make this transition a little smoother, where there's like a like in between these two images that I posted for you here, and like I will have like in like the reply to the tweet. There is like the in between these two shots, there is a like kind of where like it is like panning up Itachi's face, and like the style of lighting changes from like the style of lighting in the first half of this image to the one in the first image to like the one in the second. But like that in and of itself is like kind of a jarring thing.
Yeah.
And like, so I don't know if it just comes down to like here is like, yeah, I mean like the directorial staff in this episode just did not really want to like constrain themselves to like mimicking the work that was done in that previous episode, which is like totally fine, I guess, right? It just like in this specific moment, it's like, oh wow, the show is just like, it just is like very different, very abruptly.
Yeah.
The other thing I want to touch on briefly is that like when I was watching this in the anime, like I pulled up the episode that this was like initially and just to, like compare. I like got curious, and so like I went and checked and like compared like the first time this happens in the manga and the first time this happens in the anime, right? I mean the first time this happens in the manga and like the time that is being like adapted this time, and it is like kind of the similar boat, but it is like almost a little extra jarring because it is like it is like directly reproducing like a lot of panels from the first time it happens, but it is like very rarely in the exact like layout that it was initially. Like there's a lot of like, here is like a big splash panel that's been like cropped down to fit on like a page. Here is like here are like a few panels from the original, and like here's like a new panel that is just like serving to like condense a couple of different panels into one. Well, like it winds up being this like very like jarring experience because like you have all of these individual panels that are like arranged in this order that they were like not really like initially composed to like give to like be viewed in. It has this kind of like peculiar effect to it, which is like, again, I am not going to judge that harshly if you are working on the fucking like 20 pages of comic a week schedule. Like if you just like have the opportunity to like reuse a bunch of shit you already drew, like fucking go for it. Like,
yeah, absolutely,
that is your right. But it is like a very like weird reading experience, I think. Did you have anything you want to touch on with like this whole thing?
No, I think I'm good. You want to move on?
Yeah.
Itachi tells Sasuke he's going to be allowed to live so that he might one day get stronger and get the Mangekyo Sharingan too, telling Sasuke that in order to unlock it, he has to kill his bestie. Sasuke doesn't quite believe him, so Itachi tells him about the secret Uchiha meeting hall with all the secret Uchiha secrets. Sasuke passes out and wakes up in the hospital to overhear some nurses gossiping about how his whole family was murdered. Sasuke returns home to find the Uchiha secrets Itachi talked about. Sasuke heads to school like normal, and the kids are being weird about how his whole family died and stuff. Sasuke just wants revenge, though. Back in the present, Naruto doesn't quite understand why Sasuke wants to fight, even though Sasuke admits they're besties.
So yeah, we start off on this half of the episode with like Itachi doing his whole big like Seiko speech where he's like, yeah, actually I never cared about being your brother. I just wanted to like measure if you had the capacity to become as strong as I do, and I think you do. So you have to like kill your best friend eventually and get your super special eye and come after me and like hate me forever. And like, so obviously this is not real things that Itachi believes.
Yeah.
Right. Like even like even without the like, foresight of like, oh yeah, like later on we learn about all the ways that Itachi was like secretly like, doing all this other shit the whole time. this still, you know, like there's still a sense of like, oh yeah, like Sasuke's characterization in like the previous episodes was like very, very clear in terms of like how, you know, he like did care about like Sasuke, and like he was, you know, you can see a lot of stuff in those episodes about like him trying to like shield Sasuke, right? Um,
Yeah, in like subtle ways that like wouldn't just be an act, right?
yeah, yeah. Um, and so it just has this like very weird tone to it where it is like, what is the end game here for like Itachi? Like what is like the specific intent he has with saying all of this shit really? Like
Yeah, I mean, I'm really curious. Like I know, right? But like, ooh,
no, but I mean
what's
like
his
if
game
you,
here? What the
no, I mean
fuck?
like no, I'm not even going like, oh, I don't know what happens later in Naruto. I'm saying like there just are things that he says, like the ways he personally that he says is like, oh yeah, this is just going to make like Sasuke like miserable and worse in the immediate term, right?
Mm-hmm.
And like obviously eventually like Itachi has the thing where like he is like intervening and like trying to build the fight with Sasuke so he can like, you know, fucking cleanse Orochimaru's interference from Sasuke like fucking hundreds of episodes down the line, right? But like that is not a problem yet. I don't know, like it is just this like it feels like more like to me in this moment, like maybe like something will change my mind, but like it feels like Itachi in this moment is like a guy who has to say the thing to like motivate Sasuke to like do all of the things that like Sasuke is already going to do, like sort of irrespective of like what the guy's actual motivations are. Does that make sense?
Yeah, totally. That sounds about right to me. I mean, like, what this looks like to me is like Itachi having like a turn, right? And like having this like sicko speech to Sasuke that is like obviously like to an extent like out of character of what we know the like Itachi relationship to be,
Mm-hmm.
in a way that is like trying to suggest like something going on and like a depth there that like we are not yet privy to. I just don't think Kishimoto knows what it is at the time of writing this yet.
Right. So it just does not really like feel like it connects to like what that like broader goal could be. So it just is like, you know, he is just like pointing Sasuke down the path of like, you know, go do the plot of Naruto. And we
Yeah.
will figure it out once we get there.
Hmm.
Which like I guess that is like sort of how Naruto is written, but like in this moment it is just like it is hard to.
It is just like a little bit egregious in the way that it is like contrived, right? Like,
Yeah, yeah, and like I don't know. I guess if there is like some secret thing that actually makes all of this make sense that I'm forgetting about, then like you know, maybe I'll be like happy to learn about that. But like in this moment, it is very it just feels very weird. Like in the past, as I was kind of like, oh, it is like a little bit weird that like, you know, Itachi like a secret good guy, but he still puts like Sasuke in like brain torture hell. But like now I'm like, okay, I guess like putting guys in brain torture hell, but like not meaning it is just how Naruto like works. But like, what is this speech about? Like if I'm being the most generous, I can predict like, oh yeah, like so Itachi like was given like a week to like try and figure out what he was saying to his brother when he like killed their whole family, and like he just kind of fucked it up. But
he like wasn't expecting for Sasuke to show up at all. He had to like ad lib it. And he was just like, wait, fuck. I was like an 11 on the sicko scale when I should have been like a 6 tops.
okay, he was like specifically waiting for like Sasuke to show up though. He was like sitting on top of a telephone pole, like watching for Sasuke to show up, and then he like fucking dashes off to their parents' house to like stand over his parents' corpses. Like,
I mean, fair, but I was just joking. It's just jokes.
no, I know. Sorry. It just really feels like Itachi does not know what he is doing. If you like try to like, I mean, to me at least, like it feels like it's not what he's doing. If you like try and like put it in any like,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I don't know. It just does not make a ton of sense to me on its own terms. But anyway, Sasuke collapses, wakes up in the hospital. Everybody's gossiping about how dead his family is.
Mm-hmm.
Rough time.
Yeah.
It goes back to like the Uchiha district or whatever, right? And like it's just kind of like wandering around and being like, oh shit, there used to be people here that are all dead. There is like stuff I like about this game with like how much it just sort of commits to like, you know, like letting it be like kind of like this quiet thing of like, you know, like where there's not a ton of dialogue and Sasuke is just sort of like like wandering around these places that I knew, like sort of shell shocked. Like, there's that like moment of him like hearing like a noise in his house, and like in that moment be like, oh, I like maybe my parents are alive after all, right? And like running off and checking it's just a cat, and it's like, oh,
Yeah.
poor kid.
Also, hey, another on-screen appearance of Ruby.
Wow.
Yeah, that was Ruby hearing about the Uchiha murders and coming in disguised as a cat to like check out the
It was
scene.
like, oh, this seems fucked. I knew those guys. What was up with that?
Yeah, what was up with that?
Yeah.
And so Ruby was there.
Mm-hmm.
The transformation jutsu as the cat, and then Sasuke showed up.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then she scampered away.
Yeah. Sorry, I feel like I'm leaving you hanging on this bit a little bit. maybe if Ruby was fronting this episode, she would be able to carry it. I'm just like,
no, that's okay. I just wanted to point out another like, look,
that's
that's us.
Right. Yeah, there we are.
there we are. It's like,
yeah.
Yeah. Sorry, what were we talking about?
I was just saying I kind of like the scene just in terms of like, it like getting to exist as this thing of like, yeah, like, here is this like quiet sad moment for Sasuke or whatever. I think it works all right.
Oh, totally.
And then he goes and learns about like the secrets and everything, and I mean, that is whatever. He goes back to school, and all the kids are like, oh damn, look at that kid, his family is like so fucking dead. I mean, like Shikamaru and Choji are like there in this scene, like talking about getting snacks, and they do not seem to like really notice or think about Sasuke, but like all of the no-name kids are really giving Sasuke hell by having dead parents. I mean, they're not directly like bullying him, but there's a certain extent to like which just talking about the shit out loud directly behind his head is more or less the same thing.
And
like, so obviously, like this scene alone would not be like demonstrative of this fact, but like I do think it is interesting to me how little anybody, when they are talking about the like death of the Uchiha clan, talks about like, oh shit, do we have like police anymore? Right, like this may not be like these kids like primary concern, but I feel like the Konoha military police force just kind of goes away for a while after this.
Yeah, I mean, like it didn't really do anything anyway,
right?
So,
like almost as if it did not really serve like a crucial function in the like hierarchy of the Leaf. And
well, it did. It was just keeping the fucking Uchihas in place.
Right. Yeah, I know. I mean, like I was doing some digging into this, and like eventually they like acknowledge it again in like Boruto, but like maybe that is like some weird like attempt at like Naruto becomes Hokage. It's like, oh, maybe I should try and like make good on like how all the Uchiha get killed. Maybe I should make there be a police force again, like they used to be in charge of, but like they're not really Uchihas to like staff it. I do not know, but like regardless, it is just sort of like off the table for like pretty much the rest of Naruto. It is not really something that that anybody feels all that pressed about it seemingly not existing.
Which, fine. All cops are bastard, and I'm so glad Sasuke got better from wanting to be a cop as a child.
Yeah, I'm glad he grows up into having the real non-cop position of just being like a roaming Black Ops guy who just shows up wherever. And
yeah, but that's different. That's like normal shinobi stuff.
Right. That is like a fake anime job you could have, as opposed to like like on the like fucking secret like counter space alien task force.
Yeah, right? That's badass. It's way different.
It's way different. Sometimes he gets into fights with dinosaurs.
God.
But anyway, that is not the Sasuke of this era. The Sasuke of this era is he is still sad. He is seeing Itachi's reflection in like a lake and just jumping into it and getting pissed off. He is gonna live his life in pursuit of revenge from now on.
Yeah.
Going back to the present, now that we have the whole like, yeah, you have to kill your best friend to get the Mangekyo Sharingan thing like spelled out for us. he's like, all right, hell yeah, Naruto, I'm gonna fucking kill you so I can get my new super eye. Like, he does not say it in those direct terms, but he is like,
He is like, that's right, Naruto. You're my best friend.
you're my best friend.
And that's why I have all the more reason to kill you.
Yeah, which, like, does not, Naruto does not really know what to do with that.
Yeah, Naruto's just like, what the fuck are you talking about, dude? What could you possibly mean by that?
Right. He has really let Sasuke sort of like dictate the terms of what friendship means and like what their friendship is over the course of this conversation, and I guess this is where we wind up.
You anything more you want to say about this episode?
No, I am good to move on.
Okay, let's move on. Episode 132, For a Friend. Kakashi learns that Tsunade sent the kids after Sasuke and shirks a mission to go handle the situation before lying to Sakura some more. Kakashi summons his dogs and has them track down the boys. Kakashi finally realizes how much of a dumbass he was about Sasuke and takes off after them. Naruto and Sasuke clash with their big attacks, and they each get sent flying. Sasuke gets pissed off about how strong Naruto is, and Naruto just kind of floats in the water and frowns. I really like Kakashi in this episode.
Yeah, no, Kakashi is like really fun here, right? Like he like comes back from his like whatever mission he was on, and he's like, "Oh shit, went bad when I was gone, huh?" And like just sort of like walks on his another office. Like, yeah, no, I know, I've got a mission river. I'll get to it later. I have shit to handle. It is just like, like prime Kakashi register of like, here is a guy who is like a fuck up, but he is still trying.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I like how this is, I think, as far as the show gets to like just admitting like straight up that like Kakashi just lies to Sakura all the time about the boys being okay.
Yeah, right. Like, no, so go on.
Right, because like obviously he lies about the boys being okay, right? Because like he doesn't believe it, and he talks to Sakura to like cheer her up. But like this episode, I think the framing of it just like really sells just like how in over his head he is with like dealing with these children.
Right, like he's like, yeah, Sakura, don't worry, I'm going to handle it. And then Sakura like immediately starts remembering like the last time he said it and how much he did not handle it. And like he's thinking about like his like speech he tried to give to Sasuke, and he was like, oh, I guess that did not work. I guess maybe like, I would have needed to actually be here to prevent things from going this way.
Totally. I'm just like, I am like pleasantly surprised by the show for like admitting the extent to which like Kakashi isn't cool.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean that just makes the character better.
Yeah, I always summons all of his like cool ass dogs to like go track down Kakashi. I love the like drawing of like all of his dogs when they first show up in the manga. Mm-hmm. It is more or less directly translated into the anime, but it's just this like real like a bunch of like really characterful, goofy looking dogs.
Fuck yeah! Oh my god, I love these guys.
Look at the cool dog with sunglasses.
The cool sunglasses one of them's covered in bandages.
Yeah. They're just funny boys.
Yeah, we got Pakun and Big Pakun.
Mm-hmm. Kakashi is like giving the orders to them. There's like this kind of weird bit in this episode that I think is like most pretty solid. Like when Kakashi is like giving the orders to the dogs, they all just start like barking nonstop. And I feel like maybe you want your ninja dogs to have a little more discipline than this.
No, it's way better if they're rowdy.
Yeah. Okay. All right. I mean, I will defer to your dog expertise here.
Yeah. No. A bunch of dogs. Like, if you're gonna give them an order, you want them to like do the thing, obviously, but you want them to be like fucking rowdy about it.
Okay. All right. Okay. Well, never mind then. It's awesome that they just started barking nonstop while Kakashi's trying to give them orders.
Yeah. It fucking rules.
Okay. All right.
Right, because like, if your dogs are too like well behaved when you're like having them do like badass stuff, it just like it feels gross. It feels like you abuse the dogs to make them like,
Okay. All right. Yeah. Okay. All right.
But like if you're like having them like do cool shit and they're like getting excited about it, it's like fuck yeah.
Fuck yeah, the dogs love to like track down boys.
Yeah, the fucking yeah. It's like okay, like obviously I think you probably haven't had this this impulse, but like have you ever been like playing a video game or something and you're it's like multiplayer or like a co-op thing and you're like getting pumped up to like go like do a big fight with like with the
Hmm.
squad and you just start fucking howling.
Yeah, I have not done this.
Yeah, it's so good. It's so good. It makes me so strong.
Okay, all right. Well, I will be on the watch out for this. Maybe that is why some of our Elden Ring streams went kind of poorly. Is you were not howling enough.
Hmm. Yeah. Well, I mean, and like the more people, the better, right?
Okay, right. So
Yeah,
on some level, you just kind of have like there's like a baseline. Like you need like maybe more than just a couple people to like really get the howling going.
yeah. You need a squad, not just a partner.
Okay, all right, all right. The blame is rescinded. I am sorry.
Yeah, no, it's okay. But yeah, I fucking love Kakashi's dogs.
Yeah, Kachi's dogs rule. I wish we saw them more.
Hmm.
We get back to Naruto and Sasuke, right? They're starting to like fight for real now, in the sense of like, oh, now they are like having like like action beats that are like pulled directly from the manga and not just like here to like kind of remind us that Naruto and Sasuke are still fighting the present while the like episodes long flashback happens. Like I think this stuff like looks pretty good, generally speaking, like especially in this first half of the episode. Like the next episode we cover, the first episode we cover next week is like kind of gonna blow like this definition of like looks pretty good out of the water, but like there's some like really solid stuff in here.
Hmm.
Like I really like when Sasuke starts like falling past Naruto and like pulls like a kunai out of his fucking bag and like whips at him. I am glad that they like managed to like translate the like big like jutsu clash that they have, where they like we get to like perspective of them from like underwater as they like run towards each other and like clash, because that was like I always been like one of my favorite like series of pages from the manga. Like it was cool to see it like pull off here in a way that I think like manages to like really convey like without feeling like too like inhibited by like trying to come that close to it, right? Uh,
Yeah,
I think
totally. I thought that was like a really cool shot.
there's some fun ways that the anime like heightens things a little bit. This episode is like directed and storyboarded by Shinji Sato, who I've talked about a little bit before, who I think is just like fundamentally like very solid, like pretty good at like framing shots, pretty good at like just all of the fundamentals, even if he just like is like not necessarily the person who gets the like biggest flashiest episodes with like the biggest flashiest animators underneath him. But like I think like generally speaking, he is like very good at like taking what he has to work with and like making the best out of it, and, like really like turning out like something that like is just really solid, right? Like I think there's like a really fun moment of so some of like the really fun images in the stretch where like Sasuke like just sort of like plummets off of the waterfall and then like fucking like tears out like from like the fucking like spray at the bottom of it with his Chidori is like that is an anime original thing where he just like runs down the side of the cliff in the manga, which I really like the way it does in the anime, because it is just this like very like it is just this very ridiculous thing to do, I think.
Yeah, it's perfect.
it is perfect for like it is perfect for Sasuke.
Okay, like I would do the same thing though, right? Like
Yeah, no, it's sick. It is so sick, right?
like if you have an attack and you're in an environment and like you have like multiple choices ahead of you. And like, all things being equal, you choose the one that looks cooler, right?
Mm-hmm.
Obviously.
There's the big explosion from the boys like jutsu clash from each other. They get like sent flying back into the water, and we get like God, like one of my like favorite visuals in like all of Naruto is when you have a guy like crawling up out of the water and like sort of like they're doing the like water walking thing to like use it as this sort of like unsteady surface to like pull them up by. I think it is like so cool every time it happens.
Hell yeah. No, it's okay. Ooh, I have something that I wanted to call out here.
Yeah.
In the race arc, remember we talked about like Naruto, like we talked about not knowing whether or not the other kids in the team like knew how to move on top of water. And I said they probably could. And you were unsure. And I just want to say, Sasuke.
Was I unsure? Goddamn.
Yeah.
I'm like, but I'm thinking about it, like, how did I say that? Because like I know how much of like this fight is like them being on top of the water. So like, what the fuck?
Right.
What was I? What was I thinking? Did I really say that shit?
Yeah.
All right. Who was running on the episode? Who do I have to blame?
We'd have to go back and check. Whatever. Either way.
Whatever. Not particularly relevant. I'm just like, how did I say that? How did I make that claim? Like obviously Sasuke. I cannot believe this.
I don't know, like maybe you just had it in your mind that like this happened like enough after the events of that little arc to like facilitate
but like, but that could not be true because Sasuke just goes into the hospital at the end of that arc. I knew he would have no time to. What the? How? I am like. This is just so self-evidently wrong that I cannot believe. Like I am in disbelief that I actually said that. God, what the hell? What the hell? This is so fucked up.
This is.
I'm retiring from the podcast on account of being a fake fan. I have to go.
Yeah, well, I mean, I can't do it without you, so like.
Well, I mean, if you cannot do it without me, then I guess I will stay.
I mean, you do most of the work. And like, I could be wrong. Like, I'm pretty sure we had that conversation, and I'm pretty sure I was just like, there's no reason we should just like assume that the other kids can't.
Right. I mean, yeah, that seems like it would have been my stance, right? Because like Sakura is just the good at chakra control person. That is like the one thing that, I mean, it does not really like hold through consistently or whatever. But like, this is fucked up. This is fucked up.
Maybe I'm just remembering it super bad.
I do not. I mean, I guess anybody who listens to the podcast who wants to confirm this, like, let me know, because if anybody wants to try and like restore my honor.
Yeah. Like it is not outside, like, okay, this is me like gaslighting myself. It is not like outside the realm of possibility that like we had that conversation, but like I was the wrong ass one.
Well, I do not want you to like gaslight yourself about it. I'm just like,
but but also like I don't know, like it.
This is fucked up. This is fucked up. We need to finish recording this podcast so I could like take a walk and reconsider my life.
Well, okay, like that's part of what I feel more confident in like me just being wrong about this right now and also back then than like you making that mistake.
Who knows? It does not matter. It does not matter.
Yeah,
it is fine. You know, Sasuke pulls himself up out of the water, and he is pissed. You know, he is like thinking about like how many times Kakashi said he could use the Chidori. He is like, you know, just in general, kind of mad that like he's like, oh shit, I guess I could not have just powered through that Sharingan earlier, back onto the hospital roof. This is fucking bullshit. And like, yeah, like Naruto like fucking floats it back to the surface of the water, and he is just like fucking miserable.
Naruto's face here is so.
He was like, "Wait, you meant it? Wait, you were really trying to kill me?" Like, I do not know what Naruto thought he was doing with his Rasengan, right? Like, he has a line about like, "Oh, I'm going to like use this to like." Naruto's like, "Yeah, I'm using Rasengan like to like test like our feelings here or whatever." But like,
I don't think he knows it kills people yet.
Yeah, I guess maybe he does not know that it kills people yet. Jiraiya does not seem to have had like a conversation with him at any point after after that night. So like, I guess maybe he has not learned. But regardless, he is fucking sad about it. I don't know. Do you want to get into the next half of the episode where we get more into, I guess, like Naruto being sad and shit?
Yeah. Sasuke's curse mark activates, and he shoots some fire. Naruto's all sad about how fucked his bestie is feeling as he's getting his ass kicked. Sasuke grabs him by the collar and hits him with the Chidori, as Fox Chakra swells inside Naruto. Naruto shrugs off the hit with his Fox Chakra healing, and Sasuke gets so scared. Naruto absolutely refuses to let Sasuke be taken in by Orochimaru.
Okay. Sasuke is like, he is like developing his plan to like hit Naruto with Chidori for real and kill him for real, and like get his like special super eyes, and like he is like also still doing his like kind of like psychotonic thing. He's talking about how like they say that like high level shinobi can like understand each other's feelings just by like exchanging blows or whatever, right? This is his like this is his declaration. Like, all right, yeah, we both know what's happening here. We should both like because we are like strong and cool, we are both capable of like piecing this together and being on the same page, which is like beautiful to me because they are not at all.
No.
Like Sasuke heard this shit and he was like, yeah, I am strong enough for this to be true, and Naruto is like my cool rival friend, so he's strong enough for this to be true, and they're just like sitting here thinking like the exact opposite things. Like Sasuke's like, yeah, you are my friend and I must kill you, and Naruto's like, wait, shit. Like, I always, like, thought Sasuke was, like, kind of cool. I always wanted to be his friend and be like him, but, like, maybe that was just me? Maybe Sasuke never cared about me at all? It's just, like...
Honey...
It's just, like, it is kind of beautiful. It's, like, how like, directly it's like, oh, yeah, like, these kids believe that there's, like, some shortcut to, like, understanding each other, and it just is, like, fucking everything up worse.
Yeah...
And like it is like just kind of like rough to see on some level because like again like we have Naruto like going through like all these thoughts like how he feels about Sasuke and like his history with Sasuke, like Naruto having like other friends like at the academy like Choji and Shikamaru and like Kiba, but also like seeing all of them have like like families to go home to, and like thinking that Sasuke is the only other person like really understands him on that level, and like I was wanting to be like him, and he's just like he is just not like. He's just not expressing that. He's just not like, and he is like talking himself out of that, like in the process of like this moment of like Sasuke punching him and shit, right? Like he is, the kids are so fucked up. So somebody should have told them about talking about their feelings. So somebody should have told them that like the strongest shinobi sit down over a nice meal or whatever, and just say hi, I care about you. That would be beautiful. That would change everything.
It would change everything.
It probably would not change. I mean, it might not change anything, but it would be worth a shot. It would be worth a shot.
Yeah.
As opposed to this sense of like them like both get like increasingly in their heads like, oh yeah, I know what this moment is about, and I know what it means to this other person. As they're like understanding the moment just like drifts farther and farther away.
Mm-hmm.
I just think it is like a really cool piece, like like try out that language. I think is like pretty common in this sort of action stuff, like where you have like cool guys fighting each other, where they like are able to fight and like understand each other's feelings through fighting or whatever, right? And just have it be like these two stupid kids that are like trying to lean into that, and it's like, oh, this does not actually work, like
yeah.
Like maybe you can get to that point with somebody in like this context eventually, but you cannot. Like it is not an alternative.
Yeah, it is not a shortcut to knowing them better. It is like, it is because you know them better that you are able to do this.
Yeah.
I just want these boys to be okay.
Yeah, I mean, they will get there, They will get there. Not right now, but,
Mm-hmm.
Like, Naruto, like, gradually, like, moves from being like just sort of despondent to being like pissed off as he's like, well, shit, fine, even if we are not friends, I still am not gonna let Orochimaru just fucking like take your body and kill you. So and it's time to make my fox tracker go all fucking crazy, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so Naruto goes sicko mode with like the fox chakra, and like Sasuke's all like fucking. Sasuke gets caught off guard by Naruto's ability to heal through the Chidori wound. And like I don't know, there's like a fun little segment where Sasuke is just like such a scared girl about the big scary fox chakra situation, and then Naruto makes this big like declaration like, yeah, I'm gonna bring you home even if I gotta like break all your limbs or whatever.
Not helpful, Naruto. No,
Naruto, no.
No, you're escalating the situation.
Yeah. Yeah, and then then it's over. Anything you want to like get to before we finish up the podcast?
No, I think I'm pretty much good.
Okay. What are we watching next week?
Next week, we are wrapping up the Sasuke retrieval mission with episodes 133, 134, and 135.
Nice.
Yeah, it is exciting. If you have like not seen Naruto 133 and you're like following along with the podcast, like maybe watch that one specifically at the very least.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, like that is just like famously a really good one to watch.
Yeah, I am like looking forward to I am like excited about being here. I'm like looking forward to talking about that. I am like, it is cool that we have made it this far. Like in the grand scheme of things, it is not like, okay, we are still like less than a fifth of the way through all of Naruto, but it still feels like this is a big step.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, and hey, if you don't want to wait, you can check out our Patreon, patreon.com/Konoha Crush. All one word, Konoha Crush. For just $3 a month, you get access to episodes up to a week early. And for $5, you get access to our bonus show, Narukai Uzumaki, where we talk about like isekai and isekai adjacent shows. This month we're watching through So I'm a Spider, So What? And I'm like really excited to talk about that one.
Yeah, me too.
Mm-hmm. Without getting to, we're gonna try not to get into it now because we have a whole podcast,
have a podcast for that.
yeah. But while we're on the Patreon, I want to thank our Joining tier patrons: Maple, Izzy, future Jinchuriki of the Six-Tailed Beast, in front of the show, Rife. Check out their streams at twitch.tv/subspaceskater. All one word, subspace skater. Any images we talk about during the show can be found in our Twitter, twitter.com/KonohaCrush. We have a Tumblr now too, KonohaCrushcast.tumblr.com. And hey, I stream on Twitch too, twitch.tv/GuinevereTeef, GuinevereTeef, Guinevereteef. Right now I'm mostly playing through The Legend of Zelda Skyward Sword. And also on Fridays, I'm playing Monster Hunter Rise with Maria. So come and check that out. I do a lot of funny voices on Skyward Sword. So if you want to hear me do like funny voices, you know where to find it. And I don't know. Beyond that, do you have anything you want to shout out?
Not really that I can think of.
Okay. Well, hey, thanks for listening. And remember, there's no such thing as filler.